Hello and welcome to another Europa Universalis 5 video. 1.1 Rossback. It was uploaded, it was played, and I wouldn't say for the most part, but it was enjoyed by a lot of people. A lot of people liked the various things that came with it. The quality of life, for example, really improved. But it also came with some economic changes. For starters, all of the land that you do not control, say if you have, 70% control in a location, that 30% pre-Rossback used to just be eco that disappeared into the ether. Now that eco gets split between the estates in the location. So your estates are having a lot more money. That's a really interesting change, and it's a change that a lot of people have been asking for quite literally a year now. And there is an issue with that, in that the estates will now, with their vast amounts of extra wealth, build vast amounts of extra buildings. And these vast amounts of extra buildings require vast amounts of extra input goods. And these vast amounts of extra input goods tends to be iron, lumber, and tools. And so come around 1400, 1450, in most people's games, the amount of iron, lumber, and tools goes completely away. There is no more left. It is impossible to keep up with the amount that is required, because it's not just your country, it's every country. So the gameplay loop became, I need to completely max build everything. I need to embargo everybody so that they're not taking lumber, tools, and iron out of my market. And then I need to delete buildings that my estates are building so that I can keep up with this pain, with this increased demand. There were various mods that were uploaded to try and come up with fixes for it. I actually have a couple that I've been using. Iron Mines, adding a building that you can construct that will create more iron. Cheaper lumber mills, basically trying to encourage the AI to use them, and also requiring less tools to have more lumber. These things, they're just fixes. They're just temporary fixes, but what we also have is today a 1.1.2 open beta. It has been updated, we now have a new version, and, well, let us see what we have. For the economy, obviously, economy is the big deal right now. Enfranchisement will no longer duplicate lots of wealth. Oh, wow. So not only did the AI or not the AI, the estates have a lot more money to throw around, it was being duplicated, doubling the issue. Nice. Well, I'm glad that that's fixed. Peasants and nobles will now attempt to expand RGOs if they're granted the privileges to do so. This is really freaking huge. I absolutely adore this. I was honestly surprised when I learned that this was not already the case. Obviously, this is like a good few months back now. I always thought that this should be the case, but I'm really glad that that's changed. The Hunt RGO now requires lumber instead of tools. Forestry RGO now requires masonry instead of tools to expand. Fine. I'm not sure what masonry has to do with forestry. I think this probably should still do tools. This feels a bit like a band-aid. There is an issue, and that is there is a lack of tools. Taking input goods that were tools and changing it is a way to alleviate that, but sometimes they're alleviating it in ways that don't really make sense. Requiring lumber instead of tools for hunting. Honestly, you could probably do weaponry there, or something along those lines. But honestly, lumber is fine. To build your hunting cabins and what have you. But forestry, you're chopping down trees with masonry. I don't get that one. Estate powers can no longer scale below 0, and the power of opportunities modifier is now capped at 100. I'm not sure what this one is, to be honest. Trade impact on the supply and demand is now equal. This is essentially a fix for an issue where you could say you owned a lot of Italy. Say you owned all of northern Italy, you owned Genoa, you owned Venice. What you could do is trade silk from Genoa to Venice, And then in Venice, you could trade silk from Venice to Genoa. Basically, the same good going back and forth. And you would make insane amounts of wealth because the trading cap impact was skew if it was I don't know specifics, it's numbers and stuff I'm not very good with, but essentially you were making tons more money because they were demanding more, even though there was supply issue. Look, I don't know, but either way, that is basically what you were able to do: trade back and forth and make tons of money. That's no longer possible. Average control and development modifiers to only apply for countries that have locations. Yeah, makes sense. For Diplo, fixed incoming peace actions from another human not working properly. Didn't really see that one fail. Rework the return core peace treaty so it allows you to choose whichever core of the enemy you want to return to whichever eligible country. This allows you to return cores to third parties that are not involved in the war. Good. That makes sense. The Reform Society disaster now grants Diplo annexation cost, no longer grants monthly doom and estate target satisfaction malices. Oh, look. Things to do with doom still needing changes. That mechanic is always going to be an issue. It was in EU4, it will be in EU5, probably will be in EU6. Add a disaster hint for turmoil in the Brandenburg disaster. Eventually, you know, I'll give Brandenburg a try. At the moment, we'll leave it to the side until this patch is probably fully updated. Fixed an issue that removed Pirate Brethren government reform immediately after applying it in various pirate events. Pirate Stronghold building is no longer an estate building. It can be built freely if you move your capital. Fair enough. Standardized the unit sizes of elephants for Khmer, Orissa, Bengal, and Indian elephant combat units, and fixed inverted movement bonus for the units Saxon Defensionier, Hessian Jäger, the Gebirschützen, and Bavarian Jäger. Okay, fine. Refine the default war goal icon. Alright, whatever. The icon for Conquer Enemy CB will now appear correctly. Alerts highlight no longer blocks main tab button clicks. I don't know what this means, although there is an issue that I have come across very many times, and I'm sure everyone has, where your main government buttons, that being the five, whatever, actually it was more than five, the buttons in the top left of your bar, right? You got your government tab, your economy tab, your production tab, etc. Sometimes they can be like locked, so you can't actually click on them. If you press the F keys, then you can, jump in there, but that gets locked sometimes. Is that something to do with this? I assume no, actually, because this is an issue that predates the alerts highlight button. Though what I will say is, if you, like me, have put a map mode on your E key, and the alerts highlight has come out, and it is also on the E key, very annoying. You go into your interface menu, or in your settings, input bindings, right? This alert button thing isn't in here. However, if you find what you want to be on E, which for me is markets, if you just reset that to E, it will say, oh, but the alerts menu is on E. Do you want to rebind this? Just say yes, and then you've fixed that particular issue. Fix MP icon showing for single-player games. Level of the policy icon will probably display on the right side. Okay. Empty location tooltips and no location scope can be provided, and adding missing icon for the eco map mode, missing localization for some map mode legends. Okay. Right. If this is what is causing the iron and tool and thingy shortfall, all of this stuff, then look, hopefully this is now going to solve that. It will take a game or two before, people figure that out. Obviously, I'm not going to run a game that is in, 1350 and then think, oh, that's fixed the issue, right? It needs a game from 1337. So that's going to take some time to learn about. I'm sure we're going to get more hot fixes. Again, this is a beta, right? You have opted in to playing with this. So on that note alone, I think it is expected, justifiable. It's not worth massively losing your shit about. Hopefully this is going to fix everything. There is another issue that I was told about in my community, and I have it here from Mortal Coil. Tribes having minus 50 pop satisfaction permanently. This is a huge issue that I was expecting the dev diary to cover as well. So that is not there. Hopefully, if the devs watch this video, that is something they could look into as well. If you have tribesmen in your country, having them be a -50 satisfaction seems a little rough, and maybe that's probably not how the game should be. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to play some more of this. If you're interested in EU5 multiplayer, by the way, I've been playing as the Teutonic Order in an EU5 game. It isn't on the Rosbach beta, it's on the previous patch. But in the latest video that I uploaded to my VOD channel, so the latest VOD, we had a huge coalition war, a lot of Europeans versus the Ottomans, Mamluks in Tunis, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. So you should go and check that video out because, yeah, it was awesome. But other than that, subscribe to the channel. I don't ask people to do this often enough, according to my analytics. So, yeah, if you want to help me out, that's a pretty good way to do so. Click the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, and it makes the algorithm happy. So anyway, thanks all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully, by then, some more fixes will be found, and, yeah, we can enjoy this game. Toodaloo.